Hello, everyone, and welcome to iCritic Live. This is the podcast where we talk about entertainment, pop culture, and life in between. I'm your host, Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and as of this morning, still not Rotten Tomatoes certified. I'm going to express a little bit of disappointment. I've been trying to become Rotten Tomatoes certified for a while now, several years to be precise, and I just have not actually been invited to become a Rotten Tomatoes certified critic. It doesn't seem to matter that my reviews tend to be fairly well written. It doesn't matter that my YouTube channel has tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. I just have not been able to crack the tomato gate, if you will. But that being said, at the end of the day, it's still a goal to strive for, and one thing did happen to me this year. I kind of found my passion for writing again in the sense that I'm really enjoying writing. It doesn't really matter what it's about, whether it's a review, I'm working on a novel, and just blog posts about random things. So even though it's disappointing that I'm another year older and another year missing of being able to say I'm Rotten Tomatoes certified when some of my fellow friends and critics are, I'm starting to feel a little left out, to be honest, but I'm also glad that I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying writing again. And I created this podcast, and the podcast has been a lot of fun, a place where I can talk about all these entertainment things going on and just be myself. And today I want to talk about artists and what their work is worth. Now, if you ever go to any of the comic conventions, there's several things that you're likely to see. You're likely to see booths where you can buy collectibles and old issues of comic books. There will be panels from companies revealing new projects that they are working on and making big announcements. And there will always be a artist's corner, or an area where artists will sketch commissions for either characters that they have worked on or their own artwork, or they'll just sign comics that they worked on. It's pretty straightforward, and most of the time these artists charge somewhere between $10 to $30 for a commission. Some artists will charge on a scale where it's like, hey, if it's just like a quick little character sketch, sometimes it'll be $10 or sometimes it'll be free. And if you want something a little bit more detailed, maybe with a background or multiple characters, they might start charging a little bit higher of a rate, like $50 or even $100. I remember passing by Alan Moore's comic stand. He was at the stand. It was very brief. And he was doing very quick sketches of the character from V for Vendetta, the anonymous mask. It's like a half mask. He could do it really fast. It was amazing. And he would just do it for free because he was going to be there for only like 30 minutes or so, and then he was going to move on. So I felt lucky to have gotten that. But if he had been sitting there all day, he probably would have charged more because he's Alan Moore. And an Alan Moore sketch will sell for a lot of money online. Well, a little controversy has erupted with Jim Lee, who is a very famous comic book artist. He started in the industry in 1987, working as an artist for Marvel Comics, and some of his work on the Uncanny X-Men comic books is considered some of the best artwork in X-Men comic book history. His style was so influential, in fact, that it was used for the basis of the designs in X-Men, the animated series. So if you've seen X-Men, the animated series, you've got an idea of what Jim Lee's artwork looks like. Now, he was also a co-founder for Image Comics, and he published some of his own work like Wildcats and Jen through his studio Wildstorm Production. Now, at one point he wanted to spend less time publishing and more time illustrating, so he sold Wildstorm to DC Comics, and as a result, he kind of got brought into the DC Comics fold, and now he is actually the chief creative officer for DC as a whole. This includes comics, this includes TV, this includes movies, although in the movie format, James Gunn has the number one job in that regard, but Lee is a big part of being able to give advice on the movies. And I bet you James Gunn is listening to the man. And, well, he's pretty big now. He obviously is very busy. He probably doesn't spend as much time just doing doodles anymore. But he made an announcement for the upcoming Comic-Con that he is actually going to do commissioned artwork once again through his agent Albert Moy. So what he's doing is he's going to do a, the way commission artwork usually does. You ask him to draw something, he will draw it for you. And it's his prices that have really got this debate online started, because he's going to be drawing on like an 11 by 17 inches full figure, one character, limited backgrounds commission, and he's charging $20,000 for that. Now, if you want more than one character or extra backgrounds or a recreation of other covers not drawn by him, it will be $25,000 to $35,000. And 9 by 12 inches waist up figure with limited backgrounds will be $9,000 to $15,000. And if you just want a simple headshot, it'll be $1,000. Blank cover comic with only the bust and no background will be $8,000, and $12,000 if it's a wraparound. He will supply the blank cover comic, but you can supply at the show if you want, the show being San Diego Comic-Con. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people who want some of Jim Lee's artwork, like, because having an original Jim Lee artwork is like having an original sketch by Hayao Miyazaki or Jack Kirby. It's like a holy grail of artwork that you can have, and he does not do the artwork like, this isn't like little scratches on a piece of paper. This is going to be highly detailed, super immersive. Even with limited backgrounds, it's going to be a work of art. It really will be. And obviously people want it, but gosh, it gets as high as $35,000. I mean, for perspective's sake, I am qualified for a loan for a house of up to $800,000, and the down payment's going to be $38,000 if I want to take this loan. And I mean, not to get into my home buying thing, but I'd have to go, if I wanted one of these things done the right way, I'd have to go to my wife and say, hey, honey, I know we said we were going to put a down payment for a house, but for $3,000 less, we can have an original Jim Lee commissioned artwork piece. She probably would not go for that plan, by the way. No matter how nice it looked, she would say, are you kidding me? Oh, and by the way, I think some of these commissions are going to be limited. Like, I think it's like the biggest ones are limited to like 6 per show. And also, this is the first time in 15 years he's taking commission requests. So it's not like this is something that's been easy to get for a long time. Now, he has done sketches and commissions for charities and things like that. And this is, by the way, where I believe he got his pricing. Because every time one of his artwork pieces has gone up on eBay and sold for a charity auction, guess what? It has sold for more than $20,000. Pretty consistently. I think the lowest a piece of artwork sold for was 2 years ago, when people were still recovering from the pandemic and everything, and financially things were really bad. Guess what? One of his commission pieces sold for a little over $16,000. So here's the thing. While, yes, this is a lot of money for commissioned artwork pieces, and it unfortunately prices a lot of everyday fans out of being able to get one of these commissions, the reality is that's what his commissions are worth. Like, his commissions, we have verifiably, they sell for more than $20,000 a commission piece. Now, let's say he only, does those 6 for a show. That's $120,000 for that show. Let's say he goes to 4 shows. That's going to be, hold on, let me get the calculations. Now that's $480,000. That's pretty good. And here's the thing. I don't know why people are upset about this. I mean, aside from the frustration of not being able to get an authentic Jim Lee commission, one of the things that has been a complaining, or that people have complained about, I should say, for many years is that comic book artists, and artists in general, are not paid what they are worth. In fact, it's actually kind of sad because when you look at like the great artists of our time, the Pablo Picassos, the Vincent van Goghs, some of these really great timeless works of art, these artists don't live in mansions. They don't make the money that the paintings and the artwork goes for. They lived very humble lives. Most of them were starving. Many of them died in poverty. And years after their death, their work becomes worth millions upon millions of dollars. And by the way, I do want to say that while I would love to have an authentic Pablo Picasso, it's pretty clear that, well, I will never be able to afford it. Or it seems unlikely I will ever be able to afford it. And that's just the way art works sometimes. Now, here's the difference with Jim Lee. Jim Lee knows what his work is worth. He has seen it sell for a certain amount of money. And because of that, he has said, hey, you know what? I will do 6 commissions per show that I'm at. This is the starting price. And this is where it can go up to. And you would think that artists would be in his corner. Like say, hey, congratulations, man. You did what most of us artists are trying to do. You got your artwork to a point where it's worth a lot of money. You know it's worth a lot of money. And now you can take advantage of that popularity and what your art is worth, and you can use it to make more money. But they're not. In fact, ironically, he's kind of being accused by many fans of being corporate greedy because here's the thing. As the CCO of DC Comics, he gets paid very good money. And he's also very busy. That's why he normally doesn't do commissions. But hey, he makes very good money already. Why does he need to charge $20,000 to $30,000 when he's clearly well off? He doesn't need this money. He doesn't need to charge $30,000 for a sketch. Why is he doing it? And I bring back, it's because he knows that that's what the artwork is worth. Now, let's pause for a moment and let's say this was a little different. Let's say he was only charging like a few $100s for one of these commissions. And let's say he upped it to 12. Why not? Let's just double it for the sake of it. Hey, between $300 to $1,000 you can get an original Jim Lee commission. Well, all these people who are complaining that, he is being greedy about his art, that he should really not be pricing it because he's already rich, you know what those people are going to do? They're going to jump on and they would buy the commission. And once they had that commission, they turn around on eBay and they would sell it for $20,000. That's what they're going to do. That is what they would do. They wouldn't even think twice about it. But hey, because Lee happens to have an eBay account as well, and he sees what his artwork is worth, and he sees what people sell it for, he's the bad guy for saying, well, if that's what people are willing to pay for my artwork, that's what I'm going to charge for it. Because why not? He's talented. Clearly, people want his artwork. Why shouldn't he take advantage of that? It's a very interesting discussion. And some artists do, in fact, or they are, in fact, I should say, on his side. So Chris Burnham said, I think Jim Lee should charge $19,999.99. Obviously, that's a little bit of a joke. Kevin McGuire said, some people are upset that Jim Lee is charging $20,000 for a commission. Are you equally upset if someone got a $1,000 commission from him, then later sold it for $20,000? At least the artist is getting the money. Brian Young said, personally, I think Jim Lee is undercharging based on what his original art goes for. The man is a legend, though, so he can charge whatever the hell he wants. David Peppo said, me trying to explain to my fiance why Jim Lee is one of the most successful and influential comic artists since Jack Kirby, while she silently takes the dog out for a walk instead. That's really funny. Scott Kurtz, personal hero of mine. Lee can charge $20,000 for commission is because currently that's what people are willing to pay for one, because it's an original Jim Lee. So, yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. Now, I do feel bad, of course, that some people can't get that original artwork commission, but here's the thing. Jim Lee is a nice guy. If you bring to him a comic book that he worked on, he'll typically sign it for you. Like, hey, he'll sign it for you. He's very friendly to the fans. He has not done commissions for a long time because he has been too busy to. But I think, I'm jumping ahead. It is understandable why, as a fan of his art, and if you want an original piece of his artwork, it's going to cost an arm and a leg, and for a lot of people, they just won't be able to afford it. And this also is going to ensure that these commissions get into the real fans' hands, because it's not like a scalper like myself is going to pay $35,000 for a commission piece, because that's basically what we would get for it, and once eBay takes their fees, then we're going to lose money. So this artwork is going to wind up in fans' houses. And by the way, Lee, if you ever want to send over a piece of artwork to me, I'll gladly take it. I promise I won't sell it. But I think people are getting upset at the wrong things. They should not be upset because Jim Lee's trying to screw them with extremely high commissions. They should be disappointed that he got so famous he's able to do it. And personally, that stinks for us. But we should also feel happy for Lee because so few comic book artists are able to charge a living wage for commissions when it comes to their artwork. It's like people say, oh, that's nice, I'll give you $20 for it, and there's not a lot of profit there, and they're always struggling to get by. Jim Lee got to the point where he's not a starving artist anymore. He can charge what he wants, and ultimately that's what all artists want. And so to be upset that he's just taking advantage of the hand he's been dealt is not exactly productive, nor is it helpful. But that all being said, I would like to know, what do you think of the commission that Jim Lee is charging? Are you personally going to try to get a commission, or do you think that maybe it's a little outside your price range? If you are listening to this podcast on a site that have comments, I would love to hear you comment below. And hey, if this is your first time here and you like what you hear, let's make it official. Subscribe to iCritic Live and stay tuned for all the great topics that we talk about on this show. I will see you all, not at Comic-Con, because Comic-Con has got too crazy. Maybe I'll do an episode about the last time I went to Comic-Con, because it's kind of a sad story on why I no longer go, but who knows? Who knows what we'll talk about? Like, that's what I love about this podcast. So anyway, I will see you at the movies, though, which there's plenty of great movies to see this weekend. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Hey, you made it to the end. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Just a few more things. First of all, the names that you see on the screen, these are our Patreon and YouTube member supporters. And I thank each and every one of them. Their support helps me make exclusive videos for Patreon and YouTube members, as well as keep the channel running. And of course, is just of huge kindness to me. Also, don't forget to check out the iCritic-led podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, Deezer, whatever podcasting service you listen to. It is there. We definitely want to see you there. And hey, there's also other videos that you can check out. So, check out these other channels, these other videos, especially that one. I think that's a really good one.